Hi ma'am, lovely to have you here. Obviously you are the host, so it's an amazing place.
Great to have you here.
Right. I must say this is our first time and it's such an amazing place to be at for anybody who's interested in films and filmmakers. The vibe, like I was telling you, is so positive, and the feedback that I've got from speaking to people from across at the bazaar is that it is a great place to find new talent, to discover new talent, to learn about what's happening across the world. So accept my congratulations first
Thank
of all.
you.
And I would like to start with asking you about the experience at this year, and how have the last 3 days been? It's still to finish.
I think it's always very intense, very, very intense. As you said, the filmmaker and the film project is central to the market. It's very important for us that they achieve their objectives. And frankly, our satisfaction and our sort of analysis of every edition really depends on the feedback we receive. So we're waiting to receive the feedback. And I think by the end of December, we'll have a fair idea of what we did right, where we went wrong.
Right. Last 4 or 5 years, we've seen like an amazing flurry of high quality cinema coming, which is been supported by the
Much
bazaar.
of it has come out of Film Bazaar.
Right,
yes.
right. So, could you talk about where the bazaar kind of turned, into kind of hub?
I think it was the year that Miss Lovely got selected in a certain regard. That was the year there were 5 projects in the Work in Progress Lab. They all made it to well-known festivals and achieved a lot of critical acclaim. Also achieved commercial acclaim. BA Pass, for instance. We released Mumbai Cha Raja, Fandry. All these projects came out. So somewhere along the way we turned a corner, and okay, you're doing the right thing.
Right. In terms of taking things ahead from this year's edition, obviously once the feedback comes in, you will have a much better picture. But could you talk a bit about the initiatives that NFDC will now be involved in, and looking forward to the...
Well, obviously, upping the game over here. It's very important to make qualitative enhancement in your functioning every year in terms of even the projects that we present. And that's been visible if you were to track the last 8 to 9 years. I think going forward, as NFDC as an institution, obviously has a broader and a larger agenda than Film Bazaar, which is focused on facilitating trade,
right,
the commerce of it, and development of good content.
Right.
But I think audience building is going to be very crucial. And theatres, there's a huge paucity of theatres in this country. And some kind of a solution certainly needs to be found for that.
Certainly for the kind of films that come out of NFDC, which sadly do not get the kind of release or opportunities to screen in theaters. Is there any game plan on that?
No,
front?
I don't think so. I don't see why there should be a distinction. And I don't think the distinction is ever a very good idea in the long run. I myself have gone back and revisited my own sort of thought processes on that. I think it's very important to play around in a market dynamic to ensure sustainability of content over the long run. The moment you start subsidizing or creating theatres where you show a certain kind of cinema, you are then climbing a glass wall. You're constantly a glass mountain, so to say. You're constantly struggling and going against the flow. It's more important that audiences are open to all kinds of cinema. And that change has been visible. Miss Lovely was released. Lunchbox was released, BA Pass was released, Titli, Ship of Theses. These are not films you could have anticipated being released 10 years ago.
Right.
So there is a gradual shift that's taking place in audiences and in the distribution environment. And I look at it very positively, and I think it's better to play around in that scenario than try to create a parallel system of distribution.
But from an audience building point of view, which you mentioned, is there anything that
Well, that
NFDC...
would obviously have to happen outside the domain of the commercial distribution system. Yeah.
Right, but is there anything that NFDC...
We have some plans. We're working on those plans, but I don't want to talk about them till they're really, till they fructify and lead somewhere.
Right.
Otherwise, it's so...
Right.
Castles in the air.
Right. So also in terms of some other plans for Film Bazaar from the next year, because we saw some innovations this year. You had the open pitch, which I thought was an excellent idea.
We did that last year. We introduced
you
it
did last year also,
but
right?
Everything takes a year for an idea to sort of gain traction takes a while. And yeah, it's been very, very successful this year. I'm very happy about it.
Right. One comment or observation that I had, and I think probably specific to this year, is that there aren't really too many filmmakers from the regional cinema here. Obviously, a lot of films in the market, in the viewing room, obviously in the script lab and co-production market are regional, but a lot of the filmmakers who are coming here are coming from Bombay. So last year, I think there were separate panels on Malayali cinema and Gujarati cinema. Is obviously NFDC has been at the forefront in terms of pushing regional cinema. I think there was a strong push a couple of years back.
There's always been a push.
Right. So, was that conscious or like it just happened?
No, it's the thing. Look, NFDC has no conscious sort of strategy that okay, today I'm going to pick up X cinema or tomorrow I'll pick up Y cinema. We advertise. It's an industry that's driven by word of mouth. So I do not believe people do not know about it. Of course, people would know about it all over the country. And really, it's up to them to apply,
right.
you know. And we are very happy to handhold anybody and everybody, regardless of language. Our mandate is to promote all Indian cinemas.
Right. So I was at the Dharamshala International Film Fest here some time back, and Gurvinder Singh spoke very highly of the support, and also Ruchika spoke very highly of the support that NFDC has provided. Probably not a lot of filmmakers know about the first feature.
I think that's
support.
a point well taken. Maybe we need to start tying up with local festivals and promoting and talking about the work that NFDC does. That's a good point.
Right.
I should seriously consider it.
So are there any other such initiatives where you kind of trying to support young talent or?
Many. The labs are there. The production segment is there. We are always happy to handhold if somebody writes to us. So in any case, that formal and informal support is being rendered in any case, beyond Film Bazaar as well. Yeah.
Right. Thanks so much, ma'am, for the time. It was lovely chatting with you. Best wishes with the Bazaar and with NFDC. It's lovely to see a platform like this that supports filmmakers and films from across the country.
Thank you so much.
Chatting.